Good evening, Franklin Township. It's almost evening, it's dusk, and it's New Year's Eve 2024 as we're all going to be out ushering in 2025. And one of the things that we wanted to chat with today, we are here today at the Franklin Township Animal Shelter with our animal control officer extraordinaire. This is a woman who cares more than anybody I've ever known about every creature from a grasshopper to a praying mantis to the biggest deer and the biggest bear. Katie Nordhaus has the heart. You're just, no one could ever duplicate who you are and what you do for Franklin. And it just, I'm sorry, Franklin. I have two rescue puppies, and I know Cody's been here. He's visited with Katie a few times. I know how frightened they are. And when they come here, Katie soothes them, makes them feel welcome, gives them love, and prays that she gets the right home to make them happy, safe, and in their forever home, secure. What we're going to chat about today, Franklin, being that it is a typically heavy traffic night for people to be on the road making merry and sometimes making merrier than maybe they should behind the wheel. Occasionally, and we've experienced it probably about a month ago, we had two incidents where we had animals who were killed in vehicular accidents, and Facebook was flooded with people saying, "Oh, did you know that the cat was and what do we do?" Nobody knew what to do except to say on Facebook, "This is what happened." As if miraculously something was going to emanate from those postings as to what the proper course of action is. Well, the proper course of action is not to go to Facebook, it's to call the police and to call Katie and or someone who is here at the animal shelter. Katie, tell us the rest of the story. I want you to make sure that Franklin Township knows what to do. If God forbid they were the cause of the accident, or they couldn't help but be the cause of the accident, or they witnessed an accident and an animal is involved, what do we do?
So the best thing to do and the first thing to do is you can pull off the road and call the police department. And you don't call 911, you just call 732-873-2300. You will immediately get a dispatcher, and then they will send an officer out there, and they will also contact us to come out for the animal. So the police come out to actually make sure that everybody stays safe in this instant and keep the traffic moving so that there's not a big problem out there. And then we will come out and get that animal. You don't want to just go and do it yourself because it could be a dangerous situation. You know, the animal's injured, they're scared, and they can bite. And then what if they bite and they run away? And now you're dealing with your rabies shots. So we don't want to do that. So the best thing to do is call the police department. Don't put it on Facebook. We're not going to see it. We're not on there 24/7. You know, so that's the best thing to do. And then they can determine what needs to be done at that point, whether it's a deer or it's a kitten. You know.
Well, the deer is most likely able to be seen a lot greater than a kitten, but two of the incidents involved cats, did they not?
Yes, they did. So, and both of them were hit and they were killed probably immediately. Um, but nobody contacted us. So I actually found out about the one through you. So
Ah, I know. When I know, of course,
yes.
you're my first call. And Katie will answer. I won't say that. Katie answers the phone call when she knows it's an emergency. Uh, but Franklin, that's really solid, sound advice. Your first line of defense: stop your car if traffic permits. Yes.
Correct.
Hmm.
And get to the side of the road where it's safe.
Hmm. Exactly. Would you suggest trying to shelter the animal within the traffic bounds or not?
I would not.
Okay.
Okay, because what if the next driver coming up behind you doesn't see you? Okay,
Okay.
now you're hit. So it just creates for more problems. And I know that's instinct for us to want to protect them, but the safest thing is just to just pull over and just call the police and wait for them to get there because they have the lights, the people will see them, and they can direct the traffic from there.
Yeah, that makes the most sense. Maybe put your flashers on. That
Yeah,
might help.
absolutely.
Right.
Anytime you pull off the road, you should put your flashers on so people are aware that you're on the side of the road.
Okay. Well, Franklin, that's the story. With that in mind, it's just one more tool in your arsenal about animal safety here in Franklin Township. And we have so many who are still homeless. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But Katie, tell us more about what's going on here at the shelter. I know there's always a wish list. We always need bleach. We always need kitty litter. We always need what?
So there's always a need for everything at the animal shelter. So throughout the whole year, I mean, it's just we use newspapers, bleach for cleaning, old towels, blankets, sheets, any kind of food donations. You know, sometimes you open up a bag and your cat or your dog doesn't like the food. That you don't have to throw it away. We can take it, and it happens a lot. Also, Chewy sends out packages sometimes, and it's the wrong one. So they're actually, when people call to return it, they actually are told to donate it too. So we get a lot of residents that bring that food into us also, which is great for Chewy, to do that.
Yeah, I know they started to do that during COVID. I remember that I had ordered some kind of a bed that neither of my two little angels was comfortable in, and they said, no, we're not going to take it back. So just bring it to your shelter or someone who might use it. So yes, chewy.com. That's a plug for them. They're wonderful. They'll do auto deliveries. It's all sorts of goodness. Yeah. So that's, can you, you may not know the answer to this, and I wasn't planning on asking you, can we, as the public, ask Chewy to make a donation in our names to you and have them deliver?
Oh, well, I mean, you can go online. There are some people that set up auto, shipping.
For you?
Yes. Oh. And they have it delivered here. And yeah, so this way it avoids you having to pack up the car and bring everything here. This way it just comes directly to us. So we have several people that do that for us also.
It's such a labor of love. Katie, we're just so honored all the time, every time we get to talk to you in public. One of the other things that we were going to talk about this before the holidays, but adoptions. There are too many animals that are being dropped off because they didn't, oddly enough, go with the decor, or it didn't get along well with another animal in the house, or the landlord decided after you have this animal in your home who's part of the family, after 10 years, the landlord decides, oh, well, you can't have the dog anymore. Well, really? Would you take my human child and give me the same ultimatum? I don't think so. My point is that when you adopt an animal, and if you adopt one here, you are adopting this animal for life. You're adopting this animal for its life. It is that kind of a commitment. You are adding a family member who deserves all of the amenities that you can possibly give forever.
So what we did during the holidays was actually we stopped adoptions a week before Christmas. People could still come in and they could still adopt, and we would just hold on to them after the holidays when everything calms down and it's easier for that animal to come in. It's not just more stress added to their, their lives, that's going to happen. So, the best thing you can do is just remember that, if you're live in a small apartment and you want a German Shepherd, that's probably not going to work. Yeah. You really have to think about this, before adding them to your family, that you could do this and you can do it for life. I mean, listen, we all understand things happen in all of our lives, but for the most part, they're a part of your family, and you take them with you when you move. And when you move, you find a place that can accept them, and you just have to do your research, especially on your breeds of dogs. That's really important, because I get a lot of people, I didn't think it was going to get that big. Well, but you picked out a Connie Corso. They get to well over 100 pounds. So, those are things you have to think about.
Exactly. They're cute and they're wiggly when they're this big. And then when they get to be this big, and they're expensive to feed, and you have to figure all of this out when you make a decision to adopt an animal. That's amazing advice. Just skipped my mind what I was going to ask you. There's a program that you have, the Senior for Senior program, that the fee is reduced, and tell us a little more about that.
Okay, so the Senior for Senior program is any person over 60 and any animal over 7. The adoption is waived. And so this is just to help those seniors get a home. It's a little bit harder because everybody's like, oh, I'm not going to have them as long. But you know what? You may also get an animal that's a little calmer, a little more laid back, went through all the kitten and puppy stages, so you don't have to worry about all that, And it's just good companionship for everybody, both sides.
Well, that's what I thought with Cody. I have a little wild child. We still have no clue what his actual chronological age is, but he's got more puppy in him than any puppy I've ever known. And that it's something about rescues. You really don't have an actual idea how old an animal might be. So that I'd so like to see that not be a criteria. Is that possible? People are still as what you were just saying. They prefer a puppy because
Yeah, and I mean, maybe down the road we keep pushing it,
Mhm.
but honestly, I've always felt like the seniors were always the best,
Mhm.
because I think they're appreciated and they're the companionship. And you know what? They're going to go home and lay on the couch and go to sleep. And there's nothing better than that.
Yeah. Well, the babies do the same thing.
Yeah, but then they get up and climb the
Yes.
curtains and everything else. So,
Yes, they
you
do.
know.
Well, I just I'm so thrilled to be talking with you today, Katie. It's always a pleasure, and we know you have the biggest heart for animals in this whole wide community. We're just so grateful for everything that you do.
Well, thank you. And listen, I appreciate you guys always helping us out and getting the word out there about everything that we need and what we
Hmm.
do. And one little blurb I'll put in on January 11th, we have our free rabies clinic for dogs, 8 to 10 at the shelter.
Okay, and where can somebody make a monetary donation to help you?
They can either just come into the shelter, and hand it to us. We'll give them a receipt, or they can mail it in.
Mhm. Okay, Franklin, and also the donation box. We see that donation box over there. I don't know if Bill can pan over to see that. It's kind of a yellow marigoldy color. And what kind of donations do you look for there?
So most of the time, people put in the newspapers, the any kind of food, the blankets, towels, and this way it's good because they can come anytime that it's available to them.
Mhm.
So if they're on the night shift, they can come by at midnight and throw something in there, and it's great, and we'll have it the next morning.
That's,
Yeah.
that's great. So, Franklin, this is how you can help. This is a perfect way to start off 2025 by giving back, giving to an amazingly worthwhile organization run by an amazingly worthwhile woman. Is Katie Nordhaus. Thank you so much. Oh, okay, Franklin. Happy New Year. Be safe on the roads today. Listen to what Katie had to say. If you happen upon something that looks disastrous, your first line of defense, call the police here in Franklin, if you're in Franklin, 732 873 2300. And have a blessed and happy, safe New Year's Eve and a wonderful New Year's Eve day tomorrow, New Year's Day. This is PJ Parker, Franklin reporter and advocate. Katie, say goodbye.
Goodbye.